Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another installment of CISA Live. I'm Erin Beekowitz-Zorick, the Chief External Affairs Officer, and I am excited to be joined with maybe the coolest title in CISA. I'm here today with Michael Harpin, CISA's Competitions Chief.
There you go.
That's kind of amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I like it.
I can't wait to unpack this. Today we're talking about cyber competitions, specifically a big one that it's kind of President's Cup week a bit, and how we can get cybersecurity training through competitions.
Yep.
Sounds super fun.
Excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. So it was a big week for you guys.
It was a big week.
And I heard you were at the White House this week.
We were at the White House. We had an award ceremony for the winners of the 5th annual President's Cup, hosted by the Office of the National Cyber Director. And it was a really special event held at the Eisenhower Executive Office building, where we got to not only honor the winners, but give some recognition to other individuals who made the finals. So we had a great time. The winners all really appreciated it, and we got to spend some time at the White House.
That sounds amazing. And a big thank you to the National Cyber Director.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the office for hosting the awards, which was really fun. So it's the 5th annual President's Cup cybersecurity competition. Yep. Can you tell us a little bit about how it started and then kind of how it's grown over the past 5 years?
Yep. So it started in 2019. It was in response to an Executive Order 13870, which asked for DHS to host the competition annually. And so that was passed to the the Director of CISA. And so the competition is for just federal employees. So it's unique in that aspect. The competition, the way we built it, it was going to have 3 rounds. So the first 2 are virtual. The first ones are open to the entire federal government. Obviously, this year we had a growth in participation. We had over 1,400 individuals play and 300 teams as well. The President's Cup is broken up into individuals and teams competitions. The individuals competitions, we also split up into 2 tracks. Track A is defensive focused. It focuses on defensive work roles and tasks from the NICE framework. Track B focuses on offensive work roles and tasks. Teams focuses on both offense and defense. For teams as well, they can be made up from anybody across the federal government. So even the winning team this year was Army and Air Force combined. So that was very cool to see the mixed branch for the winning team. Still no Army and Navy teams combined, but that was cool to see. So we've seen a lot of growth in participation as well with that. We've seen the Postal Services come play, and they'll be with other DoD colleagues on a team. We've had the FEC beginning to play as well. So we're really excited to see some growth in not just the number, but also in the different agencies that are participating in the competition.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but 300 teams sounds like a ton.
Yep.
How do you happen to know how many, like the first year or the second year, or just kind of an idea of how much it's grown over the 5 years?
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers on how much it's grown, but we started, it was in the mid 200s, I think, with teams when it first started, and they turned it around really quickly too. So we've seen a lot of growth just in word of mouth. People have really appreciated the competition. We're also pushing a lot more with the marketing and getting that out to the federal government. But we see a lot of repeat competition and then bringing in their colleagues as well. And then also just the growth of competitions, which I'm sure we're going to touch on. That's also growing within not just the federal government, but the entire cybersecurity community.
I mean, do you think that people compete because you guys give out the coolest trophies, like the coolest awards?
Yes.
I think that's
also they get their name on the big trophy, like the Stanley Cup as well. So
that's kind of pretty amazing. Okay, so I think that's a great overview of who participates and things like that. But let's kind of dive in. What is the competition? Can you walk us through just kind of like what's included, how it works?
Yeah. So the competition, it's called a Capture the Flag, or CTF, and that's pretty popular amongst the cybersecurity competitions. With the competition, we also want to be in mind that we're going to have participation from across the federal government. So we want to make it pretty easy to access. So everyone can play through the President's Cup site. They'll get a virtual machine for their challenge that stands up in their web browser. So all they need is an internet connection and a web browser to play. So then within the virtual machines, they'll have to solve the challenge itself. And there's obviously a variety of topics that we find that we cover. And in there, they'll find the flag. That's capture the flag. So is that, generally that's thought of as you hack into a machine, you find a random line of text, and that's your flag. But it could also be, say, there was a fake account created by a threat. So what's the username of an insider threat? Or what's an IP address that they were exporting data to? Those could all be flags as well. And within the President's Cup, we built the challenges and been in partnership with the Software Engineering Institute out of Carnegie Mellon since we stood it up.
In America's most livable city, Pittsburgh.
Oh,
one of my favorites. So,
you threw me off with the Pittsburgh thing. Sorry, but I did get to go to a Pirates game there, beautiful stadium. So with SEI, when they built the challenges, we have what's called the challenge server within our challenges as well. And so that constantly checks the environment of the challenge, the virtual machine, the virtual network. So that's a unique aspect that we can do within the competition. So you're not just hacking into another machine to find the flag, but you could be covering best practices. Are you setting up IPv6 correctly within your environment? And that challenge server will constantly be checking and then give you what your actual flag is. So we can focus a little bit more on defensive topics as well, not just offensively focused.
Who creates the challenges?
Yeah.
I'm just interested, because that seems like a fun job too.
Yeah, it is. And so, every year we start our challenge development process by looking at the NICE framework and the work rules we're going to focus on, and the tasks as well. So the tasks have to be able to be checked and scored within our environment. So we're automatically scored. You know right away if you got the right answer or not within the challenge. So we have to be able to test on those types of tasks. A lot of managerial. There are competitions that focus on, did you build an operations plan? Those are typically human reviewed and scored. We don't have challenges like that within the competition yet, because we have to focus on tasks that we could say, all right, you accomplished that by finding the flag or submitting the flag that went along with it. So that's where we start. And then the SEI, the Software Engineering Institute, who I mentioned, so we work with them every year to develop the challenges. And for the last 5 years, that was actually called for in the executive order, we've partnered with the Department of Energy, and they've provided the support of the national labs, specifically Pacific Northwest National Lab and Argonne National Lab, to do the play testing for our challenges as well.
I love that. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, so I want to talk a little bit about the competitions chief.
Okay. You love that title.
I do. I feel like I need something similar. That's like very cool. How did you get into this? And have you competed in these in the President's Cup before?
That's a great question. And so no, I'll put, I did not do competitions before I got into this role. So I had more of an IT project management type of role, worked on some threat intel sharing programs here at CISA. And getting into the training side and moving over to that area within CISA, and I took over from an individual who had started the competition in 2019. So I took over as we were planning for the third President's Cup, and I quickly really started to appreciate it and enjoy the competition aspect. Just the playing sports growing up, to just that competitive side to it, but also really quickly realizing the educational value that these competitions can have. So I play test. I don't play test all the challenges, but I go through a good portion of them so I can understand what the competitors are asking during our competition. And I didn't have a big cyber security background. So, this is the first time I've done things like remote code execution. gone through and mitigated ransomware myself within a challenge. And I've developed a ton of skills over the last few years just by doing in this role. And that's just one of the values that these competitions have. It can give you direct access, hands-on experience with a wide range of topics in the cybersecurity field.
So everybody doesn't have to be an expert.
No, definitely
to
not.
play.
Right. Yeah, absolutely not. So competitions there's a wide range of the competitions. There's a lot that are out there that are for beginners. There's the PICO CTF, there's Over the Wire, not directly involved with CISA, but those are out there. And those are great to really learn. Some like those are some that you can really learn the foundational aspects of the competition. The President's Cup itself, we had people, 3 to 5 years of cybersecurity IT background when we start. That's for the round one of our competition. We kind of have that individual in mind. So it is for a more experienced individual in the President's Cup, but at the same time, we really encourage everyone to play. We make all of our challenges multi-part. So we want to give everyone the aspect, and the opportunity to score in the first round of our competition. But also you can kind of assess where you are within the cybersecurity field. What skills do you need to focus on? What are some topics that maybe you need to study up on, learn a little bit more about? So that's what the competitions can really provide, and we really encourage anybody of any skill set to start getting involved in. It puts the pressure on you. It's got a little bit of that aspect that cybersecurity has. There's time management as well. So within the President's Cup, you have a set amount of time where you need to solve as many challenges as you can to score as many points to move on to the next round. So what are you going to tackle? What do you know the best within that time management? What are you going to spend time researching on? There's a lot of different variety of skills that it can teach you, aside from how well do you know how to write Python or something like that.
So I could just go to the practice area and play.
Right.
Is that anybody can?
Yeah. So thank you for bringing up the practice area. So one aspect we wanted to have with the President's Cup, especially the return on investment that we have within building the competition, is how can we use the content continually for training and education. So we built the practice area within the President's Cup website, and we put all the old challenges there for any federal employee to play for free whenever they want. So they can go through and play. You can learn a variety of topics. We have a way you can search for any kind of vulnerability you want to use and exploit certain topics as well. They're all tagged with the NICE framework work roles as well, so people can see, what areas they want to focus on. And then as well, we post our solution guides out on the CISA GitHub repository. So that's open to the public. They can see the artifacts we've used in the challenges, and they can see the write-ups we've used for the challenges as well. They can see then the solution guides that gives a step-by-step process on how to solve it. So a federal employee who wants to learn a little bit more about forensics, they can find those challenges that we've used in those topics. They can then go to our GitHub repository, have a step-by-step guide of the solution with the solution guide, and play through that challenge. When I mentioned playing through the challenges myself for the competition, I do have the solution guide right next to me too, because I always joke I'd finish near the bottom if I was actually in the competition. But that really helps. So even if you have something telling you what to do for a lot of these really technical and high level topics, that's still going to give you the opportunity to write the Python code that's actually going to work and do it yourself. So just going through that process is really going to help you learn and grow. And so that's an opportunity we have out there for federal employees. We highly encourage everybody to go out and play on the practice area for the President's Cup. We also give you a certificate of completion. So if anybody needs to use it for continuing education hours or anything like that, they can use it there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But we don't get one of only
No, the trophies here, those are just for the winning
those are kind
teams
of
and
amazing.
individuals. Yeah.
Yes. So you've been at the helm for 3 years.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have like a favorite scenario or a favorite year? Yeah. Or one that
The
you're
next
like,
one. The
whoa,
next
this
one.
is really hard.
We did have there's a lot of challenges we have every year that I really enjoy, and we have our meetings with the SEI team where we go through all the challenges, all the play testing feedback, and we score the challenges themselves. And we know which ones are going to bring the pain for the competition.
And those are the ones you pick.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the ones
exactly.
that bring the most pain.
Well, there was a few this year I really enjoyed. There was some that was built off the LastPass incident. We built those. Those were really cool. There was some that had, we started to get more operational technology involved within the competition as well. So some of those, there was one on a spaceship where you had to change the heating, cause another ship to overheat and hack into the infrastructure there. I love those kind of challenges that we put in the competition.
Wow. Yes. Very intense.
Yep.
I'm not sure that I'm like interested in like intergalactic hacking. That's the outcome is the outcome could be bad.
All aliens in our environments use Linux operating systems, so it's not too foreign.
So the President's Cup is but one competition, but CISA, we sponsor other competitions.
Right.
We go to competitions. Can you talk to us a little bit about, kind of CISA's, because you're the competitions with an S chief.
Yep.
So tell us about other competitions.
Right. Yeah, the President's Cup is one of many, and it's definitely growing within the community. There's a lot of organizations that use competitions as reskilling and for retention. But we've also started getting outreach with the community and sponsoring some, like you mentioned. There's the U.S. Cyber Games that CISA was a founding sponsor for. And that is a team that puts together a U.S. team to compete in an international competition annually. They're in their 3rd season, but I would encourage anybody to go check out the U.S. Cyber Games website. They're about to have their U.S. Cyber Open. That's coming right around the corner. So that's open for people to play. And I
think Director Easterly has an official jersey.
She does.
I know she does.
We got her one.
It looks great.
Yes.
We have her wear it every year during the Open.
Yes. It's very cool that she's so supportive and involved.
Yes.
With not just that, but the President's Cup as well. She joined our award ceremony that we had on Monday, and which all of the competitors appreciated. And the deputy director, actually, he appeared at the international competition that was hosted last year in San Diego for the U.S. Cyber team. So, the U.S. Cyber Games are also developing a women's team as well. And that's really, CISA is very happy to be involved in that. That is going to have a team of all women participate in international competition later this year in Japan. So that's very cool. CISA is also involved in the National Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition, which happens annually in Texas. So we've been not a founding sponsor, but we're a sponsor there, where we also send some participants to take part of the red team in that competition. We are sponsors for the Cyber Patriot, and that focuses on high school students.
Cool.
So a big wide range of individuals we can focus on. So that's just a few of the competitions that we're getting involved with at CISA.
That seems amazing. So fun. I am open to jersey wearing as well.
Oh, okay.
Just
Steeler colors.
And always. It's great because black and gold, you're always in season. You're always wearing the right colors. That's how it should be. You touched on it a little bit, but I do want to take the time and talk a little bit about other trainings that people can take advantage of.
Yeah.
To maybe get them ready for cyber competition. I mean, we think that you should try it and see where you end up. But are there other ways that people can kind of train for cybersecurity?
Yeah, we're really proud of the President's Cup, but it's one tool of many in preparing for cybersecurity work. So through the CISA website, the resources and tools site, there's also the cybersecurity education and career development website as well. And there's a variety of different resources that are available for people to learn more about the cyber skills and training there. So there are things like the Industrial Control System training that's developed by the Idaho National Labs. I should mention they build ICS escape rooms, and we used one of those in our team's finals this year, which is a really cool new aspect that we could provide for the competition. There's the Skilling Academy.
I think I've seen their escape room at DEF CON. I think they took it to DEF CON last year, which is very cool.
Yeah, and we brought one of those for the finals this year, which the competitors really enjoyed.
That's awesome.
There's also the Skilling Academy. There's resources available for people to learn more about that. There's FedVTE that has some free courses that are available to the public. So I would encourage anybody to check out the resources and tools websites, the cybersecurity education and career advancement websites as well, where they can find more information.
Yeah, and they can find that all at CISA.gov.
Correct.
Yay. Okay. That's like one of the best websites, I think.
The best.
Yes. Okay. I think we're going to take some questions from the audience.
Okay, great.
The first one is, were you rooting for a specific team this year?
Absolutely not. No, we do our best to be fair and even across. So we'd love to see some CISA teams get up there and win the whole competition, obviously. But no, we are unbiased and fair throughout the whole competition.
And I think I'm glad to hear that. That's good. We had a CISA team.
We were very close. We've been very close the last few years.
Okay. This next year.
Next year.
It's ours.
I'm not giving them any answers though.
Okay. That's important.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have another question. We touched on this, but we can address it again. Can anyone play or just feds?
It is just feds. So
for the President's Cup.
The President's Cup is just feds. So it will always be just for the federal workforce. That was called out in the executive order. It's what makes it unique. And it gives that opportunity to highlight that skill set within the federal workforce. So I mentioned a lot of public resources that we have that are on the CISA GitHub repository that people can check out. We are opening up the content a little bit more to the public. We'll be hosting a workshop at the NICE conference in Dallas next month.
Oh, nice.
And that's open to anybody who attends. And we're trying to hold more workshops like that or make some of the content available as well. It's just about resources really to support that scale, and we're trying to figure that out.
Well, as a competitions chief,
I got to make more competitions.
I fully support making more competitions. The next question, can beginners participate in these competitions, or should they focus more on taking cybersecurity courses?
They can absolutely participate in these competitions, and I highly encourage them to and think they should. So courses, you're going to learn new topics. You're going to dive in and read more about the basic foundational knowledge for IT and cybersecurity in that way. That you have to do that. But the hands-on aspect, maybe it's just me personally. Like I'm a hands-on learner, and when you get in and play these challenges, you're going to get down the rabbit hole of Googling different topics and different skills you need or different paths you need to figure out the problem. And that's really how you're going to learn. And I highly encourage everybody to join up in a competition.
And I love what you said earlier about the fact that the competitions are training, and they give you a good sense of like what your skill level is.
Right.
Like, that's a great way to kind of see where you need to kind of focus a little bit more. Okay. Are you ready for the last question?
I think so, yes.
Some of these are team competitions. How do I find a team to join?
So yeah, that is a great question. So with the President's Cup, it's a lot of colleagues who join. We tried to figure out different ways to figure out how we could open that up to have a open communication, and we're still trying to explore those issues. I would say a lot of these competitions they use Discord, or they have other kinds of messaging services where you can communicate and to find a team. A lot of competitions obviously are very competitive, no pun intended, and people want to win. But I've been shocked with the community of how many people want to mentor and teach within the competition and community. So I would say don't be hesitant in joining in with new teams as well, because a lot of individuals who are highly skilled and do these a lot also understand and want to encourage people to come play. And so if you're out there on teams, it could be people you don't know, but they're also probably more than willing to help you understand some of the topics and how it goes about solving the challenges.
What makes a good team?
I would say you have to have people that are highly skilled, obviously, but open for communication. So we've seen in competitions in the past where our team's finals is always split between 2 days. First day is very similar to our qualifying rounds. People get in, they can kind of split up, handle their own challenges by themselves. And the second day, we've incorporated a different aspect, like a cyber video game, where people need to be able to communicate who's solving what. Okay, I'm working on this, so if you turn off this machine, that's going to lose all my work. The collaborative spirit, the open communication is very important within a team as well.
So it's just like a sport,
just like a sport.
Yeah. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
Okay, if you had 3 things that you want everybody watching to take away from this conversation,
right,
what would they be?
So for any federal employee, please go to CISA.gov/President's Cup to learn more about the competition. We will open registration in December of this year for President's Cup 6. You can also get a link there for the President's Cup practice area, which we touched on. So highly encourage all feds to go there. For everyone else checking out the GitHub repository, there is a lot of valuable information in there. If it's not just playing the competition, what our artifacts are, what the challenge write-ups are, the solution guides as well. Highly encourage everyone to take part in that or take a look at that. And then also joining up with our workshop. So anybody going to the NICE conference in June, stopping by that workshop, and also just keeping a lookout on CISA resources if we're going to be hosting some other workshops in the future with our content.
I think that's a great plug for CISA.gov.
There you go.
Where you can find all of this information and so much more. Well, listen, big congrats to you for a great President's Cup. Big congrats to the winners who were honored on Monday, which is super fun. And thanks for doing this. Thanks for
a lot of fun.
Teaching us more about the President's Cup.
Thanks. Yeah, I really had a good time.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.